out of nowhere, this shield that suddenly just covers half the HP of someone just isn't, and then you're not able to take the solo kill at all. So I think banning that one away maybe will give that little bit more flexibility and maybe a little bit more solo kill potential for this side of Kittens. And Random is actually going to be picking that Ornn as the first pick. I actually played against Random's Ornn today in solo queue, and he went like 22-5. So if this is not Ornn support and this is Baron lane Ornn for Random, he is an absolute giga chad on this champion. But Camille and Kai'Sa, two really strong power picks on the side of WLG.
Definitely. I mean, we saw the Baron Ornn on Patterson yesterday, and we saw some really tasty like engages into these team fights, especially with the Ornn ult quite a few times against government yesterday. So that was really if that's anything to go off from Random's performance, especially with the likes of the Galio as well. You've already got a great strong front line there with those two first champs, but then you've got Camille and Kai'Sa. So Kai'Sa switching hands from Wawa to possibly Veos or even Mumu. So it's going to be interesting to see what the WLG do with the Kai'Sa this time around.
I have to see what the pick is going to be here for the side of Kittens. They are going to go for the Kha'Zix. So Vex maybe has a little bit more playmaking potential here on the Kha'Zix. Didn't do too well on that Volibear. You know, as you mentioned, I think that Baron still was really the highlight for Kittens in that last game. Gave them a little bit of hope, but unfortunately not enough. But with that Galio being locked in, it is probably going to be Ornn in that Baron lane for Random, one of his most comfortable picks. I think Ornn as a champion is just completely disgusting right now. And Veos again, maybe going for the Annie. No, they are going to prioritize that support pick down in the duo lane for Heste with Nautilus. So far we have two Baron laners, two supports, and either a mid or a duo lane for WLG. And then for the side of Kittens, we do have a jungler.
Definitely, yes. So they go for the Nautilus. We did see the hesitation for that Annie pick once again, but they definitely wanted to get that support locked in before any other supports got banned, because obviously Gragas is down. They didn't want to be sort of like stuck with a B tier support pick, which, to be fair, when it's Hester's, he probably could play any support anyway and make it an S tier pick also. But we see the Vi ban come through because they are going to be focusing the jungle, because we don't have that jungle pick yet on WLG. And then we are seeing that Ori ban for the ADC Wawa. We'll probably see another one for WLG here as well. Not too sure what they'll go for here with the ADC. They've got the Kai'Sa. They go for the Lux.
Same as last time. Both Orianna and Lux were the bans for WLG last time in a second round ban and phase. So doesn't want EQ on any one of them, or Wawa on any one of them. As you mentioned, the jungle is going to be the name of the game here for the bans for Kittens, with Kha'Zix being picked. Both Vi and Lee Sin do pretty well against Kha'Zix. Lee Sin with that early game damage just wins against Kha'Zix early on, and Vi with the lockdown just means that Kha'Zix is not going to be able to do Kha'Zix things. But there already is a lot of lockdown on the side of WLG with the Camille and with the Nautilus. Now Volibear is going to be switching sides this time around. It's going to be in the hands of WLG and Andre Z instead of Vex. So I'll see if Andre Z can maybe teach Vex a lesson or two on Volibear.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Andre Z on Volibear, because yesterday we saw him on very sort of like nimble champions like the Lee Sin quite a few times. Obviously, we saw him on Lilia yesterday. That was a bit of a blue pick. And we also saw him on the Nautilus. Actually, no, it was the Aatrox, Lilia, and Lee Sin we saw. So having that Volibear with the single target CC, being able to catch up to these squishy champs as well, like the Kha'Zix, like the Zeri, I think it's going to be a great utility. And obviously with the Volibear ult over the wall, is going to be very interesting to see what Andres can do with that. Possibly Kitten stealing the Annie pick here. They're definitely thinking about it.
Yeah, they've seen. Oh, it's gonna be the Seraphine. Hold on a second. Oh, the Annie's actually gonna be picked from Veos again. Okay, this is interesting. I wonder where these champions are going to go on the side of Kittens, because yeah, I would probably see Don mid on Zeri, and then Wawa is going to be taking the Seraphine. I'm not too sure if I like this Seraphine pick. I think that you have a lot of great team fighting potential. You don't have that much damage, to be honest with you. Zeri doesn't really do like a crazy amount of damage because you go for that Manamune Trinity Force build. Kha'Zix does a little bit of damage, but he mainly just wants isolated fights. So when it comes to team fights, I definitely have to favor WLG here, you know, with the likes of Camille, Volibear jumping in, Annie with the ultimate. Kai'Sa probably does a lot more damage, but definitely eyes are going to be on Wawa this time around on this Seraphine to see how the ultimates are going to be playing out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw Seraphine in the season 1 Rift Legends, and I'm pretty sure it was Kittens that played them as well. So I expected it to come out at some point, because I don't think we saw it in the group stages either. But to see the likes of the Galio, the Ornn, really strong front line, especially with the aid of Kha'Zix being able to sort of hope that Zeri and Seraphine can do quite a bit of poke damage for then the Kha'Zix to jump in, jump out, get the kills. But it's going to be really interesting to see because obviously the Kha'Zix has now got to dodge the fact of Camille's Hextech Ultimatum. You've got Nautilus's Knockup. You've also got Volibear Stun as well. So there's a lot of shutdown onto the Kha'Zix. So we're going to have to see how Vex actually navigates these team fights.
And it's going to be very, very difficult. I think the lockdown that WLG have is going to be, it's going to be really important to see, you know, where the Camille's going to focus, where the Nautilus is going to focus, because you don't have that many threats on the sides or on the side of Kittens. You know, you have that Kha'Zix, which could be a bit of a problem. Wawa is just going to be staying as far back as possible. Don as well is going to be, you know, trying to jump in and jump out of fights, but yeah, it's interesting. I think in terms of draft, I definitely have to give it over to WLG, especially with the performance they had last game on that Camille and also that Annie. So we'll have to wait and find out as we go into game number 2. WLG currently 1-0 up in this series. Can they do the miracle here and take down?
Can they do a 2-woo?
I'm not even going to comment on that, Blam. That's a new low for you, Blam, I have to say.
It's my e-girl side coming out, man. I can't suppress it for too long. It really hurts. But yeah, to be fair, I mean, we're not going to get that. It's going to be really interesting to see if we get that 1v1 interaction from Don and Patterson again, because I mean, the Zeri pick for 1-1 interaction is going to be a lot more difficult. But Mumu very closely caught out there. We see Seraphine and Clue down in the bot lane on Galio there, whilst we see the Camille and Hestes rotate up into the Baron lane to go 2v1 on the Ornn.
Again, Kitten's going for something different. Kittens are always the team that always tries something different in these early levels with the laning priority. Clue, they're actually camping in the bush, kind of waiting for the side of WLG to reveal themselves. And then Clue tried to go for a cheeky play in the bot side. You can see that Kai'Sa is going to have a little bit of a struggle down here. He is 2 versus 1 right now. But you can see that Heste is coming down now. So we're actually going to be seeing standard lanes, 2v2 bot lane with 2, well, I say 2 AD carries. I forgot the Zeri's mid lane, but it's close enough. I think it's the closest we're going to get to a 2v2 bot lane.
Yeah, definitely the closest we're going to get to that vanilla 2v2 bot lane.
Oh, Vex actually stole the blue. Vex stole the blue away from Andre Z, so that's really, really huge. That's actually going to give Vex a huge advantage early on. He already has the level advantage. You can see for now, nothing too crazy is going to be happening in this Baron lane. It's just going to be just a little bit tit and tap back and forth, especially with Ornn being able to craft as many items as he wants to. On here needs to be a little careful. You can't step that close to Annie with her burst damage.
Yeah, definitely not, but you could see what they was kind of setting up there between Don and Vex was trying to cut off the escape from the Annie for Vex to go in, but knowing that the Annie had the stacks up for the stun, it was pretty much a pointless engage for Vex there. Currently sitting at a 3v2 in the bot lane. Blue getting caught out from that Nautilus. But a lot of damage going on to Kai'Sa, and we see Kittens get first blood there, just like last match. And
the chain CC in the end actually caught out Mumu completely off guard. He wasn't even able to flash as well. The Seraphine third ability being able to root, and then the taunt afterwards from the Galio did enough damage. And Mumu with a bit of a misplay there, even though it was a 3 versus 2.
Definitely. I think he'll that'll be a rain check for him there, a reality check for Mumu going forward to not make a misplay. Hest is almost getting caught out by Don and Vex there. A lot of damage already onto the Nautilus. There's Tibbers onto Don.
He's gonna jump. What?
Jump in. Oh!
The Galio magic shield in the end was actually enough to keep Don alive. Andre said he even jumps over the wall as well. Maybe a little bit worried from his team. And Tibbers was so close there to getting the kill onto Don. You can see Tibbers has about a bajillion movement speed now. It could just jump from anywhere on the map. So close there. And all of the ulti comes through as well. Really well played here from Yeku. And great ultimate there from Mumu to escape.
Definitely. I mean, Mumu almost getting caught out once again down in the bot lane. We almost saw a kill for WLG there, but with that clutch Galio ult from Clue, literally saving Don's bacon in that mid lane. Currently looking at that, a 1v1 in the Baron lane. Ornn looking pretty strong there. We see Camille very much damaged, but she did get that shield. But we see Random go away from the engage, knowing that shield is there, because that would have been troublesome. But Vex is on the sidelines there. Hextech ultimatum, but that isolates some damage. From Vex takes down Camille, so they're already on a 2-0.
Yeah, Patterson probably thought that he was alone there, but Vex was just behind him. Really nice there to use the ultimate, go in stealth, jump in, like you said, with the isolation damage. And a really nice kill there for Kittens. So they do have about a 500 gold lead at the moment. Nothing too crazy. There are a few really big gold leads across the map, especially down in that dual lane. Yeku on that Seraphine is doing a lot of work against Mumu on this Kai'Sa. And you can see now that Seraphine is kind of that mid lane priority that Kittens want this game. Here comes the first major objectives. Both teams looking to hover around this Rift Herald. Both Zeri and Annie are not going to be in this fight. They do start
at this point where we saw WLG shine a little bit better, but
there's the Seraphine ulti
in there. We see Zeri already gone down in the bot lane from that's a solo kill from Bayos. There we go. Volibear taking down the Ornn. Nautilus looking pretty low there, so that's currently a 3 across the map. 3v0 trade there for WLG, putting him in a nice spot to take that Rift Herald once again. They're making a small but definite progress there before we see Clue or anybody try and go into test the Rift Herald. They managed to get it as well. Can they get the Dragon again like last match? Clue goes in there with the E a little bit overextended, has to force the flash out of there to stay alive.
Now they're going to turn on to the Dragon. They haven't gone back to spend that money though, even though they're ahead now with 3 kills. They got them 3 kills in the last fight, but they didn't go back to spend their money. That's the important part about this next fight. Kittens have an opportunity here when they can try and win this fight. Look at Veos with the flank though, with the ultimate straight on to Vex, and Vex is going to do a lot of damage. He actually used the blast code to dodge away from Vex as well. Veos with the moves. Tibbers is just running around at the moment doing so much work, and the flank there from Veos was so clean. He even flashes forward as well. We don't really see it near the bottom. And Tibbers jumping on there, I believe that was onto Don. Actually forces him to back away there, but he does have this dash to back away. But WLG, Veos on this Annie pick, doing so much work. What a great flank from him.
Massive flank, to be fair. And once again, WLG, like I was saying just before that Rift Herald. Oh, we're getting a bit of engage here. That is that E into Andrez, having to use the ult to get out of there. Ornn ult coming in. We don't get a second proc of the Ornn ult though. That would have been massive to try and catch out the Volibear there. But as I was saying before, the Rift Herald engage, this is where WLG generally turns it around, and did in the first match, and did so this time around. They get the Rift Herald, they get the Ocean Drake, and they get 3 kills, which puts them ahead by 1 kill. And they're steady ahead with the gold. Not too far that it's a runaway. They still have work to do.
A few little skirmishes happening in this mid lane right now. Oh, Hook just misses from Heste. Just kind of step back a little bit, having a look at the scoreboard in general. Not a lot of players actually completing items right now. Only about 1 item's completed across the board. Big thing to note is that Veos does have that proto belt. He has been doing so much work on this Annie in the last 2 games. That flank as well for that dragon, just being that distraction there and doing enough damage for Vex to be completely isolated out of that fight. That's the big thing right now. Everyone else has about 1 item completed right now. Few mana moves being trying to be focused. You can see here Vex does have vision of Heste with that scrying orb, the red trinket. Kittens grouping down in the bot lane at the moment, or WLG, sorry, grouping down in the bot lane, and actually going to use the volley barrel ulti to jump in. Don gets completely caught out, but he's actually going to flash into WLG. That was an interesting decision there from Don. Flashes into Doom, and Veos gets a solo kill in mid lane onto Yeku. So again, WLG just winning across the board. Randall's going to try his best to do something here with that on, but he's not going to be able to do enough. WLG with that Ornn ultimate, with the, volley bear ultimate, being able to tower dive, get that kill onto Don, get the mid lane and bot lane tower, and it's all gone in their favor.
That was a massive outcome there for WLG. Not only getting that solo kill in mid, also being able to contest that mid lane turret as well. Mid turret goes down, duo turret goes down. We thought that engage to begin with was going to go heavily in the favor of Kittens, especially with Clue's massive E into it, and then Taunt as well, especially with the Glacial Augment for the damage reduction. But it still came out on top for WLG. We saw Don possibly misplay with the flash into the whole team comp, but we're not too sure on that.
Oh, it's a spicy game, Blam. It is
Very
one
spicy.
hell of a spicy game.
That's what we expect from the grand finals, especially season 2. Everything's getting a little bit more refined within the scene, so it's all good. It's what we're here for. And clearly people in the chat are loving it. We're close to 1K viewers as well, which is massive.
Let's see here if WLG can continue their momentum throughout this game. The Tibbers actually comes out.
Tibbers.
The chain CC onto Random. He tries to dash away, but the hook from Heste as well gets that kill onto Random. And Tibbers again showing up huge. This new Tibbers ultimate mechanic. Just that jump from Tibbers, just that knock up as well, gives teams enough time to just follow up as well on top of that. And it's doing so much.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more. Annie wouldn't have even been considered if it wasn't for this rework in competitive at all. But like you say, that reactivation of Tibbers knockup is just vital. When you just think it's one knockup, you've then got another one to proc if you want to. In vital moments, especially within competitive, it's a champion people should be abusing in these team comps. But Infernal Dragon is up. Can we see WLG get another 3-dragon game, or will we see Kittens manage to steal a jungle objective like they did last match? Obviously, last match it was the Baron Nashor, but we are seeing a bit of a setup here. Clue going in with the taunt. The volley bear is already down. Yep, jungle's down. There's that Ornn ult, looking to get a bit of a knock-up there.
Veos misses the Annie ulti as well. In the backline, Veos misses the Annie ulti. Has to use the Protobelt away to safety, and that does mean that Kittens are able to secure this second dragon. Unfortunately, Andre said did get completely caught out by the chain CC combo for the side of Kittens. The taunt came in from Clue and the Seraphine ultimate afterwards. Unfortunately for Veos, he did miss that ultimate onto the jungler of Kittens. So that is going to be 1 dragon apiece now. So it's not going to be the same crazy triple dragon threat that we saw WLG in the last game. And look at that goal lead, Blam. It is just down to 1,000 gold. This is what we expected. Not like the first game, not just not like the first game, but this back and forth game is what we're expecting throughout this whole series.
Definitely, and obviously not only did they get the Infernal Dragon, we see that Don managed to secure that dual lane turret as well, which is obviously going to be massive for them. Now puts them actually have some skin in the game when it comes to the turrets. It's now a 3v1, but yeah, that Annie ult was definitely baited towards that team fight there, and unfortunately Veos missed it.
Oh, Heste?
But yeah, Getting the
Has
big
they
engage
going
here. Has to
on?
go
Veos!
onto.
Veos
Yep,
as well,
there
right
we go.
onto the back line, and the ultimate, the chain CC again. Heste with the hook flash as well, and Kittens are absolutely wiped off the map. They got caught with their pants down, random in the Baron lane, and if you do anything to this WLG lineup, if you give them anything at all, Veos is able to jump in. That Protobelt Annie Tibbers, that chain CC, Heste flashing over the wall. What an insane combo for WLG. And just like that, Flam, we thought that, you know, Kittens were still in this game. And just like that, one team fight is always takes for WLG. Like I said, you just give them an inch and they take a mile.
Take a mile. Absolute take a mile. I mean, we missed a Mumu there. We saw Kha'Zix trying to jump out there, and then Mumu literally just went straight back in with his ult. It was like, you're going nowhere, mate. And literally wiped him out. So that really helped in the team fight as well. But that Veos engage with that Tibbers is just ridiculous right now. So much damage from Annie. It's really interesting to see how much damage this champ can do. Now they've got the Baron minions as well. They're looking to push some of these second tier turrets. We've got Patterson in the Baron lane, and then we've got Andres and Veos in the bot lane. We've got another two, Estes and Mumu in that mid. They do take all second tier turrets, and Patterson's not even stopping there. He's still going for that inhibitor. We see that already engaged, but what are they going to do? Kaiser is very low. Tibbers activates again onto Annie just to save herself from the Zeri there. We get Patterson take that inhibitor. We have minions at the Nexus, but it's 3:16 minutes. There is a shield still on that Nexus. There is an engage going on in mid. No one's quite dead yet, but who's going to get the first kill within this interaction? It is massive. Oh, status as well. Nicely done. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive? No. Oh, Patterson goes down after all that finesse with that status as well. He still goes down, but they get that mid lane inhibitor and the Baron lane inhibitor just for one death, which is massive.
Yeah, the damage has already been done. I think that Patterson is happy to risk his life and trade his life for two inhibitors over for the side of WLG. As soon as they take that Baron, they push all three lanes, and Patterson is absolutely destroying right now on this Camille. 2,000 gold lead over random on this on pick. And overall, WLG playing a really nice game. That early game and around that mid game was really close, but now we're getting into the later stages of the game, and WLG have a controlling lead.
Yeah, massive lead. Not quite that kill lead that they had, but they don't really need it. They're showing that they don't need it. They've got the gold lead. They've got 8 turrets to 1. They've only got 1 dragon this time around. They've managed to get Baron Nashor still. Mountain Drake is up in 28 seconds. I can imagine that it's either going to be a steal from Kittens to try and keep in this match, or WLG are going to take a straight second dragon from Kittens here. But we're already seeing Patterson looking for a gank in that bush. We also got, sorry, it isn't Andre Z. It is, yeah, Patterson was there, sorry. It looked like there was somebody else within the dragon camp. I was trying to read the name, but clearly this text is very small at this point. But yeah, here it is. The Mountain Drake has spawned, and you can see all that message of red and blue is back into it. He goes straight into it again. This is kind of where he fell last time, but he does have a little bit more sustain. He manages to get out of the team fight due to the flash as well. Not enough CC done onto Andres. Double kill for a Mumu. Oh, double kill for Patterson. Can he get a triple kill? Mumu gets a triple kill. They're running the minions down in the bot lane. Mid-wave, sorry. And then we do have it in the Baron lane. And there is a Nexus Stew. 2-0 for WLG with a nice little status there from Patterson towards the end.
Veos again. I was just watching Veos throughout the whole last fight, and he played that so cleanly. He got dove on by both Zeri and Kha'Zix, but he uses the stun from the passive so well to stop Don in his tracks. He gets jumped on by the Kha'Zix. He protobelts away, uses that second charge of Tibbers, flashes forward, chain CCs the Vex, and it allows Patterson to follow up as well to do so much damage. This Annie pick is a problem right now for the side of Kittens, and honestly I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be, you know, banned next time.
Yeah, I would honestly advise them to ban it. I mean, just like we saw Forever Esports, it became their prior ban in their entire matches. We never saw any surface once when we saw government in there. But Yeah, that Addy ban needs to come through for Kittens, or even if WLG ban it themselves, like, oh, we've abused it enough here, lads. We can only do it a few times, but it's clearly worked to get them 2 ahead. If it does get banned this next time, will we see Kittens take a 1 round from them? Because the Veos engages as well with the assist of Hesti and obviously Andreze.